Porsha Williams gifted a $300,000 Rolls Royce by her fiance, Simon Guobadia. I apologize if that was incorrectly pronounced. Now, by the way, for anyone who hasn't ever seen like a Rolls Royce in person, they look extremely classy, right? Now, that being said, they don't actually really look like they should actually cost $300,000. Like they look like they should really only cost maybe like 50K, but they still look pretty darn nice. So the Real Housewives of Atlanta star Porsha Williams just landed herself a $300,000 Rolls Royce Ghost, courtesy of fiance Simon Guobadia. The only way you win is if I quit. Fire emoji, weird gymnastic emoji, the reality star 40 captioned photos of herself fawning over the new platinum ride. In other photos, Williams embraces her hubby after being gifted the luxury car topped with a big red bow. She added, hashtag thank you hubby, and make sure to plug her RHOA spinoff, The Pursuit of Porsha, which, by the way, hashtag thank you hubby should not actually be there because technically speaking, they are not married yet. I don't know. Now, again, like specifically the Rolls Royce Ghost, I think, honestly, in my personal opinion, is probably one of the better looking Rolls Royce. Especially, I believe, the Wraith. Like, where it's like just the coupe, like, it looks disgustingly sick, right? Especially depending on like the wraps and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, as a car, it looks very nice, right? But you also got to think about it too, right? Imagine spending $300,000 on a car, or imagine someone just gave you a $300,000 car, right? Like, that's a lot of money for a car. That's going to go down in value. So Guobadia shared the same snaps to his Instagram story, posting a photo of both of the Rolls Royces together, captioned his and hers. He also called Williams his queen in a snap of her hugging him while sitting atop the car. So Williams' new ride includes orange interior with black trim. So soon after Williams shared photos of the new ride, fans dug up snaps of Guobadia's ex-wife, Phelan Pina, standing next to a similar car that was also allegedly gifted from Simon in August 2020. Now, while both cars are platinum Rolls Royces with orange interiors, Williams' car is trimmed in black leather. Door placement is also an indicator that the cars are different models, with Pina's likely being a Rolls Royce Dawn. So basically, what honestly probably happens, like for people who don't know, if you're someone who either has a lot of money or more specifically conducts a lot of business with car dealerships, you tend to have a little bit better deals than other people. Meaning, like, if you're someone who does a lot of business with, just say, like Rolls Royce, you are going to have deals on brand new Rolls Royces because they want that repeat business from you because they know that they can basically rely on you whenever like a brand new model comes out, right? But typically, to be in that situation, like you got to be spending like really good money or very consistently, right? To where you're basically almost like a premium customer of like Rolls Royce or Lamborghini or Ferrari. Dun-dun-dun. Still, fans had a field day with the idea of Guabati gifting his wives such similar vehicles. Now, here's the thing. Technically, Porsche is not his wife yet, right? Again, they are fiancé, right? And that's very important to factor into this viewpoint, right? Whoever might end up stumbling upon this, you could give your own thoughts. But the reality is, you should not really be spending big ticket items or giving people big ticket items that you are not married to. Now, to me, it'd be completely different if they were married. If they were married, go full force if you want to, right? Because then you are truly a partnership that you could truly rely on each other and that you're just not going to like leave for whatever reason, right? And this is why it's also important that if you're dating someone, you never pay off that person's debt. You never sign like you know, a a contract with them if you're not married. So what I mean by this is like you don't buy a house with someone that you're not married to. You do not sign on a car loan that, you know, basically are signing for another person because the other person has like a bad credit. You have good credit. Like you don't sign for loans for people that you're not married to. By the way, you should not be signing for loans to begin with. That's a whole nother thing. It's like you gotta be very careful when you start to intermingling finances and partnerships, right? Like romantic partnerships. Like you gotta be very careful. Now, I don't know much about these two individuals, right? They might end up getting married and staying married for a very long time. And I hope that ends up being the case. I'm just saying the reality of intermingling your finances or like splurging good amounts of money on people that you are not married to yet can bring disaster very quickly, right? We've probably all seen drama shows or like, 90 Day Fiance or heard personal stories of people literally just losing pretty much everything that they have because they got married to someone that was not right for them. They ended up, doing like a deal with someone and getting completely screwed. They ended up going into business with someone and getting all the money robbed out of the business by the partner, right? They end up basically signing for a loan for a car, ending up getting screwed over. They end up basically signing for a student loan for like maybe a kid, or like their parents ended up signing for like the student plus loan, but the parents actually never paid on it and basically screwed over the kid. So there's like a lot of things that, like, when it comes down to finances, you have to become very independent. Like, you got to be very careful. And I really want people to be very careful so that you can shield yourself from other people's stupidity and also their malice. There's some people that if they're mad enough at you, they're going to try to screw you over, no matter how close they are to you. So when you end up tying up money with that as well, it just could get very dangerous and could end up getting to the point where you may not be able to recover from it. So Simon must do this with all his wives. New house, same similar car. Porsha, such a bird, tweeted one critic of the move. Now again, like specifically buying Rolls Royce isn't really that big of a deal in terms of like, being like a similar car, because again, I mentioned a lot of these dealerships end up giving people pretty big deals if they're repeat customers. So it might make more financial sense to him technically going with another Rolls Royce than, like, let's say a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, because he might end up saving way more money by going down the Rolls Royce route because he has a good relationship with them. That's the way that I view it. Still a bad financial move because they're not married yet. Now, I don't know how much money he makes. I don't know his net worth. I don't know his investments. So I'm not going to say whether or not this really is a bad financial move, because I don't know how this necessarily would affect him personally, right? Like, I don't know if his life would end up being changed if basically this car got destroyed with no insurance, right? If this would have some sort of impact on his life with no insurance, meaning like he couldn't afford to lose like $300,000 worth of a car, then obviously it would not be a good financial move. But if this guy is like worth millions of dollars and makes millions of dollars and he just splurges on like a $300,000 car, then in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter because that's basically the equivalent of us commoners basically buying a biscuit at a nearby bakery, right? So that's just something to really think about. That being said, you still should not be buying such a high ticket item for someone that you are not married to yet. So Williams also had her supporters, with one sharing, "Y'all can say what you want about Porsha Williams, but she looked mighty happy to me, especially in that new Rolls Royce." The betrothed couple have yet to set a wedding date, but are said to be planning 3 separate ceremonies. No idea why 3 separate ceremonies, but props to them. All I gotta say is, for anyone who ends up like stumbling upon this, what you should learn from this situation is that do not buy a car for someone that you are not married to yet. The second you get married, go ahead and buy them a car if you want to, right? Because then you are partners. You should link up your bank accounts. No secrets between you. It makes things way more simple and way more clean and cut, right? But if you start like splurging like crazy amounts of money on someone that you're not even married to yet, guess what? She could just leave. Or he could just leave, right? Like they have no obligation. Like literally, any one of them right now could just walk away, right? And you could be in a similar situation, or you might know someone in a similar situation where they could just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm dating someone, but you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna, pay off their student loans, for example, right? Because, oh, we're gonna get married, maybe like next year, right? We're engaged, but, we're probably gonna get married next year, probably, right? So you end up paying off their student loans, let's say like 20K, 30K, roughly the same price of a new car, even with today's crazy market. And well, bam, 2 months later, they just leave you. Well, guess what? You're not going to get that money back. You're screwed, right? So you literally lost 20 grand because you paid someone's student loans that you dated, that you believe that you love. You might still love them, but they no longer want to be with you at all. So it's just something to really think about. If you want to learn how to get out of debt, go to 40inbox.com.